In recent years, many people must have felt that the world we live in seems to have reached the age of plague and disaster. 2022 is only a few months away. What kind of year will 2023 be? Will the world welcome the new transition, or there will be greater calamities about to strike? Brothers and sisters, Nostradamus was a famous physician, astrologer, and prophet. He was given a vision of the future by God's revelation and made public records. Let's find out how 2023 is described by Nostradamus. Nostradamus was born in 1503 in the south of France. His full name is Michel de Nostradamus. Michel is the archangel and messenger of the Mother of God. His name seems to be faithful, and his prophecy also implies God. Nostradamus was original of Jewish descent, but to avoid religious persecution, his whole family changed their beliefs to Catholicism. From a young age, Nostradamus was brilliant, jumping through all three classes. His grandfather quickly saw his great potential, teaching him Latin, Greek, Hebrew, and mathematics. He also encouraged Nostradamus to study astrology and science. By the way, he told the ancient stories of the Jewish tradition that helped him to be exposed to the concept of heaven for the first time, and to understand clearly how to change the destiny of mankind. All laid the foundation for the later achievements of Nostradamus. He correctly prophesied who would become Pope when he met Felice Perietti. He predicted this would be the future Pope, and Felice Perietti did indeed become Pope Sixtus V. In addition, he correctly predicted Henry II's death while visiting his palace, or even his death in 1566. The second year after his death, his son gathered them all, including his unpublished prophets, and published in 1568. This is the work of the centuries handed down after the ages, which includes nearly 1,000 prophetic poems. The time of the prophets stretched from the time he lived to the end of the world, or so to speak, on the eve of another great era. Through this one finds many accurate predictions about major historical events. For example, the Great French Revolution, the rise of Napoleon, the rise of Hitler, and the events of 9/11. Some researchers even deciphered Nostradamus' prophecies of trains, planes, movies, and atomic bombs, and people today still excitedly discuss Nostradamus' prophecies. He is also known as the prophet of gods and demons, the prophet of the end. His centuries are often timeless. It is considered the second Bible in Europe. 7 great prophecies in 2023. Hurricanes, floods, earthquakes, and volcanic eruptions will result from the need to detoxify and rebalance the earth from a geoclimatic perspective. According to Nostradamus, a new age will start in 2023, both chronologically and practically. In the history of humanity, the year 2023 represents a holy period that is both advantageous and perilous, and it is expected to bring both catastrophes and revelations. Firstly, American Civil War. Is it conceivable that a civil war in the US may break out in 2023? According to Nostradamus' prophecies, such an event may take place in the first half of 2023 as a result of poverty and political unrest. America is one of the most powerful countries in the world. How can poverty be related? However, since Mr. Biden came to power, the entire country's economy has fallen into a quagmire. Debt is mounting, and the oil crisis caused by the Russian-Ukrainian war has made everything worse. At least this problem increases the economic pressure on a lot of people. Recently, the Mar-a-Lago residence of former President Trump was searched, surprising many people. Will the two-party dispute turn into a civil war? And maybe another form of civil war, such as political and ideological. Secondly, the destruction of the large empire. The prophet wrote another person would join this great empire. Kindness and happiness will go away, ruled by someone not far from the brothel. The tribulation of the kingdom draws near. Analysis suggests that the above poem by Nostradamus predicts the destruction of a great empire. The French seer foresaw the possibility of the huge empire's demise, perhaps Russia or China. In addition, the likelihood of a worldwide disaster will result in a large number of casualties and patients. The year 2023 is probably when wars on land and in the sea will break out. If the fate of the great empire perished fell on Russia, perhaps many people would not be surprised. However, when it comes to wars involving water and land, many people think that it is most likely a matter of the Chinese Communist Party attacking Taiwan by force. Thirdly, Europe's population decreases. Nostradamus predicts that in 2023, European nations will have to contend with a potential population decline, which is thought to be the end outcome of the deployment of chemical weapons and other nuclear-related wars. Every supernatural prophecy is said to have the potential to become much more terrifying than before in 2023. The major catastrophe that would trigger World War III is getting closer to us as Nostradamus predicted. In his book, Les Prophéties, Nostradamus also speculated that there would be a third world war between 2022 and 2023. The next prophecy is the President of Russia and the United States are under intense attack. Vladimir Putin, the President of Russia, and Joe Biden, the President of the United States, both faced a very violent year, according to Nostradamus. Experts claim that Nostradamus foresaw Vladimir Putin being the target of an assassination attempt, an armed struggle in the East, and a rekindled connection with his American counterpart between 2022 and 2023. Putin will be betrayed by someone extremely close to him if the prophecy comes true. According to the prophet, Biden will have an unknown illness and a member of the family of the American president will be killed in a car accident. Next, a severe financial crisis will happen. Nostradamus' prophecies for 2023 indicate that a financial meltdown is just around the corner. The most well-known American stock index had a swift but significant decline at the start of this year, which had worldwide repercussions and led many to fear a new catastrophe. Others believe that economic instability is just around the corner, despite the insistence of certain analysts that we are not living through another bubble that is going to collapse, similar to the one that occurred in 2008. The sixth prophecy regarding a new pope in the Catholic Church. It was written, "In the final persecution of the Holy Roman Church, there will reign Peter the Roman, who will feed his flock amid many tribulations, after which the seven-hilled city will be destroyed, and the dreadful judge will judge the people." The end. Nostradamus is said to have made references to Pope Francis in quatrains 2.97 and 531. However, the French prophet foretold the passing of the Pope in 2023. In 2023, a young guy who will attain a prominent position will succeed Pope Francis. According to the quatrains readings, the new pope will cause a crisis in the Catholic Church that will begin in 2023 and persist until 2029. Pope Francis will be the final legitimate pope. His successor will be a Pole whose pontificate will cause Rome to vanish and who will be the final legitimate head of state. For the last prophecy, there will be an unprecedented migration. The issue of immigration will affect Americans, and there will be an increase in terrorist attacks. Every age, both old and new, appears to be obsessed with the end of the planet. Undoubtedly, there is a lot of naivety in this post-apocalyptic world, but there is also a lot of self-culpability. People instinctively realized that there are many faults in their typical conduct regarding Nostradamus' assertion that every good deed receive its recompense. This is presumably where the belief that the world is ending came from. There is no doubt that in all of the end of the world scenarios, the terrible crimes that would cause it was also implicated. These threats were intended to inform the populace about the faults done by mankind so that they may abstain from them.